Hello, Dr. Sanchez, class of Leadership and Team Development. Thank you for taking the time out to watch my research project today. Reaching today's multi-generation using situational leadership. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. Today we'll cover in this research project the introductory to situational leadership, the two literary reviews that I used for this project, the different forms and methodology to research this project, the types of limitations I ran into while conducting this project, my suggestions for future references, and a conclusion to my research. What is leadership? Leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. Before starting this class, I didn't know that there was different forms of leadership. I knew that there was different styles of leadership, but I did not know what they were called. Today, I'm going to go into depth of what situational leadership really is all about. Situational approach. First developed by Hershey and Blanchard back in 1969. Situational leadership takes a look at the different styles of leadership for each situation, like a case-to-case ordeal. A person with this statue must be willing to adapt to meet the needs of his or her situation. With that, this form of leadership varies based on the notion every situation deserves a different kind of leadership. With that in mind, a leader of this style must be willing to change their style to meet the diversity of each situation. On top of that, they must be willing and able to be both directive and supportive when it's called for to meet the needs of their followers. Based on how to respond to the situation by the following: the leader's behavior, 1. 2. The followers' readiness, and finally, the leaders and followers' relationship. Leadership styles in situational approach. First, I will discuss the directive behavior. Directive behavior helps group members accomplish goals by giving directions, establishing goals and methods of evaluation, setting timelines, defining roles, and showing how the goals are to be achieved. Direct behavior clarify, often with one-way communication, what is to be done, how is it to be done, and who is responsible for doing it. While as supportive behavior help group members feel comfortable about themselves, their work, and the situation. Supportive behavior involves two-way communication and response that shows social and emotional support to others. Applying directive and supportive behavior to the different leadership styles. First, we'll be covering the high directive, low support and what it means. This approach focuses the leader's communication on goal achievements and spend a small amount of time using supportive behavior. A leader gives instructions about what and how goals are to be achieved by the follower and then supervise them carefully with this first step. The second one that I'll cover is coaching, which is the high directive and also high supportive, which seems to be the best out of the four styles. This approach, the leader focuses on communicating on both achieving the goals and meeting followers' social and emotional needs. The coaching style requires that the leader involves himself or herself with followers by giving encouragement, soliciting followers' input. However, this extension of style one, in that it still requires that the leader makes the final decision, they also give the follower the opportunity to give their input on the situation. The third style with leadership styles is the supportive approach, which requires the leader to have a high supportive and low directive style. The leader focuses not only exclusively on the goals, but offers a lot of support that brings out the follower's skill and around the goals to be accomplished. The supportive style includes listening, praising, asking for input, and giving feedback. A leader using this style gives followers control of day-to-day decisions but remain available to facilitate problem solving. The final style is the low supportive, low directive style. With this style here, the leader offers less goal input and social support and facilitate the follower confidence and motivate in referencing to the goal. Looking at the leadership styles, the first one we'll go over is the high directive, low supportive. With this style, the leadership S1 for high directive, low support focuses a direction on goal achievements and spend a small amount of time using supportive behavior. Using this style, a leader gives instructions about how goals are to be achieved by the follower and then supervise them carefully. For the follower's development level, the followers have a low competency and a high commitment to the job. They are new to goals and do not know exactly how to do them, but they're excited about the challenges of doing so. The second leadership style we will look at is coaching, also known as the high directive, high supportive, S2. With this approach, the leader focuses communication on both achieving goals and meeting followers' social economical needs. The coaching styles requires that the leaders involve him or herself with followers by giving encouragement and soliciting followers' input. Although coaching is an extension of S1, in that it still requires that the leader makes the final decision on what and how goals are accomplished. On the follower's end, which is the development D2, followers describe as having some competency but low commitment to the job. They have started to learn the job, but they also have some of their initial motivation about the job. The third learning style will be supporting. High supportive, low directive. S3. With this style, the leader does not focus exclusively on goals but use supportive behaviors that bring out followers' skill around the goal to be accomplished. The supportive style includes listening, praising, asking for input, and giving feedback. A leader using this style gives followers control of the day-to-day decision but remain available for problem solving. As an S3 leader, they are quick to give recognition and social support to the followers. For the development level on S3, also D3, the follower who have essentially developed the skills for the job, but they are uncertain to whether they can accomplish the goals by themselves. Finally, the last leadership style is low supportive and low directive. With this S4 style, the leader offers less goal input and social support for the follower. The follower is confident and is motivated in referring to goals. The leader's lessens involvement in planning, control of details, and goals. For this development style of D4, the followers are high in development, have both a high degree of competency and a high degree of commitment to getting the job done. They have the skills to do the job and the motivation needed. Multi-generations currently in the workforce. First, looking at the baby boomers. The baby boomer is a term used to describe people that were born during the period of time right after World War II, being born between 1946 to 1964. This generation was one of the largest in American history and is perhaps one of the most important right now when it comes to the workforce. This group of people has very unique personality and their life histories are vastly different from today's younger generation. Currently, baby boomers make up to 29% of the workforce of today. The next generation we're going to look at is Generation Xers, also known as the bus, because of their birth rate was vastly lower than the previous generation, the baby boomers. Born between 1966 and 1979, Generation Xers is often labeled by having a high level of skepticism, meaning what's in it for me kind of attitudes. Generation Xers are the best educated generation, with 29% having a bachelor's degree or higher. Although this is true, Generation Xers still only make up a small percentage of the workforce of today. The third generation we're focusing on is Generation Y, also coined the Echo Boomers or Millennials. Born between 1980 and 1994, Generation Y are also known to be incredibly cultured, technology savvy, immune to most traditional marketing and sales pitches. They are more racially and ethically diverse than any other generation in the workforce. They are less brand loyal, and the speed of internet have made them very flexible. Currently, they make up the largest segment in the workforce and is rapidly growing. Baby boomers motivational factors. This group do not require constant feedback. They have a mindset is all is well unless you say something mindset. There are ambiguous, goal-oriented generation that is motivated by promotions, professional development, and a desire to be in a position of authority, and having their expertise valued and acknowledged. They prefer recognition from their peers rather than their supervisors. They prefer the recognition styles of acknowledgement of their input and expertise, and prestigious job titles, and parking places and office sizes are measured of success for this group. But they also welcome benefits such as 401k, matching funds, sabbaticals, and catch-up retirement funding. Generational X motivational factors. With this generation, they prefer to work independently and believe career progression should be based on competency, not rank, age, or seniority in the job. The type of rewards they favor are recognition from the boss, gift cards, experiential rewards, and flexible schedules. Their preferred method of recognition is informal, rapid, and publicly communicated. The former welcome benefits they appreciate is telecommunication and tuition reimbursement. With the information provided, can situational leadership reach the multi-generation? With such a mixed group in the workforce, understanding what management style is needed can be very challenging for organization leaders. The case reviewed highlighted the need to perform research on what motivation and leadership style will work best to help leaders understand how to lead and motivate its diverse workforce. In understanding how to motivate employees positively to perform, regardless of what leadership style approach is used. Managers need to be flexible in their decision making when attempting to motivate employees. There should not be a one-size-fits-all approach when motivating a multi-generational workforce. In this case, I learned that leadership approaches and employee motivations are important factors when leading a multi-generational workforce because it has a large impact on organization success and employees' motivation, mutual respect, and ability to work together. In the case study, the situational leadership approach effects on employee motivation in multi-generational informational technology organization argued that because situational leadership approach was consumed in the organization's own success, it would not be a great fit to be used. When leading a workforce with multi-generation, because the approach was obsolete and should be replaced or revised. Reason being is the evolution of generation over the period of time. In theory, the situational leadership has been revived twice already, but might be time for another revisement. Today, multi-generational workforce that has different goals, needs, and motivators. With that, we cannot use mass management in today, nor can we have individual managers managing their own way to get the numbers. Currently, situational leadership approach and assumes it's positively to support and encourage baby boomers, the same way it does with Generation X and Y. Each generation has different needs and different goals and motivators. So situational leadership approach is showing some doubt in leading a multiple workforce generation in today's society. In conclusion, to situational leadership being useful for motivating a multicultural work environment, one should use the following rules. Whether a decision is better made by a group is best determined by these factors. The need for buy-in. Goal setting is something best done in group setting, in which members commit to the final decision reached. A unanimous decision making may be critical, for it increases the likelihood of success. The more people participating in the decision making process, the more ownership they have in the outcome, and therefore they work harder at the goals. 2. With the creativity involves, if you need a new view on an old problem, then you might want to bring together a group. But this doesn't necessarily mean that the final decision should be made by the group, although the information that comes from the group members should strongly influence the final decision. Third, the time involved. If the time is scarce, then a decision is best made by the team leader. The need for a decision that reflects the bigger picture. Team members may have some ideas about the situation, but they may not see the problem as their supervisor does, from a strategic view. Supervisors need not always let the current movement towards team cause them to devote staff time to meetings that are unnecessary or cause them to obligate their leadership roles. After all, being decisive is as much a characteristic of a good leader as are cooperating and a sense of teamwork. So, with situational leadership, you're constantly adapting yourself to each follower. And if a decision needs to be made right away, this is not the way to go. At the end of the day, you as leaders need to make the final call, especially if you are short on time, the problem doesn't directly involve the follower, or they are unable to understand the problem from your perspective. Situational leadership would not be one that would be great for a multicultural, multi-generational workforce. My suggestions based on the research. The leaders of today and tomorrow are so different from the past leaders from what motivates them. One should focus on the current majority to best discover what is going to work now, as they are going to be the group that will be carrying the torch of leadership for years to come in the workforce. As baby boomers phase out of the workforce, it would be best for researchers to take a look at how they can refresh situational approach leadership style. This will allow for future management teams to adapt when dealing with a large mixed group of generation in the workforce, leading and following in the organization. Thank you.